Picture the absolute lowest depth a content creator could sink to just to chase a viral moment. Is it public humiliation of strangers? Maybe it is putting innocent bystanders in life-threatening danger just for the view count. Or perhaps it is psychologically torturing your own partner to squeeze a few extra donations out of a live stream. It is pathetic. But some YouTubers were so starved for fame that these atrocities did not even register as wrong until the handcuffs clicked and the prison cell door slammed shut. Hey everyone, I am the Internet Anarchist, and I drop deep dive documentaries every single week. Today, we are dissecting the downfalls of 6 creators who traded their liberty for likes, analyzing exactly what they did to blow up online. We will look at the psychology that convinced them committing felonies on camera was a good idea, and the brutal reality check that hit them once the recording stopped. Throughout his tenure on the platform, Vitaly's entire brand has been built on a foundation of harassment, shock value, and exploiting people's misery. From his early era of terrorizing pedestrians with pranks to his rebrand as a vigilante predator hunter, his sole obsession has been manufacturing viral moments. And the cost? Everyone else's dignity and safety. Sure, that toxic formula secured him over 10 million subscribers, but it also booked him quite a few reservations in county jails. Between 2014 and 2020, his rap sheet expanded to include trespassing on the Hollywood sign and streaking across the field during the World Cup. Then there was the stunt where he illegally scaled the Great Pyramids. Guys, I will explain the jail part later, but seriously, chase your dreams. It is your life, your choice. Do whatever you want. I will not swear because this ground is sacred, but I love you, universe. Thanks, Mother Nature, for this life. Stop the war. We are all equal. Thanks for watching. Despite the mounting criminal record and the hits to his reputation, Vitaly rationalized the chaos. As long as the cash flowed and the views climbed, it was worth it. In his warped reality, since nobody died, he could harass anyone he wanted. The worst case scenario was just another night in a cell, a night he would easily bail himself out of. But that delusion shattered when his recklessness finally put an innocent woman in the hospital. No, I do not know you. No, I know, but I do not know you. Honestly. You heard about me? No? Okay, look, I want to talk about this. I do not know why I wanted to report this girl. For no reason. Nobody is going to forgive me for this. I destroyed my life. The whole thing. What do you mean? You ruined your life? I am sick of this excuse. I ruined my life because, oh, I just want to die. No, do not say that. What do you do for a living? I am so successful. I am famous. What do you do? Huh? I got 10. Do you remember the man? Do you remember in 2012? Remember the guy who chases people in the hood? Yeah. I am telling subscribers, I am Vitaly. That night marked the beginning of the end. His fanbase evaporated, and his pivot to kick streaming hunting predators only spiraled into more dangerous territory. He stood at a crossroads. He could either abandon the prank life entirely and evolve, or double down on a new variation of the same toxic trash. Making the smart play would have guaranteed him a clean slate and a chance to leave the past behind. Tragically, Vitaly did not make the smart play. By March 27th, 2025, he fled to the Philippines, aiming to reboot his career as a wholesome travel vlogger. Initially, it looked like he had actually turned a corner, filming charitable acts and highlighting the local culture. He spent time showcasing the natural beauty of the islands. But the mask did not stay on for long. In a broadcast literally titled "Vitaly Disturbing the Peace," the old demons resurfaced. "Excuse me, ma'am, my dog. I am going to rob you if you keep walking. I want to give you cash. No? Okay. Because you got a COVID mask, you liberal. Go get your vaccine. I was trying to hand you money, but whatever. Trying to be nice here. No? Yes?" From menacing locals to snatching items from police officers, Vitaly was on a warpath, sparing no one if it meant spiking his engagement metrics. He probably figured the consequences would be the same as back home, a slap on the wrist or a brief stay in a cushy cell. Listen to this guy gloating about his live stream, acting like he is the king of the world. He is basically begging his audience to clip his antics, thinking he is untouchable. He figures his footage is already viral, bragging about having his crew with him. He thought his fanbase was all the protection he needed, but Vitaly was about to get a rude awakening. Within days, the Filipino police didn't just arrest him, they put him on display for the entire country to see. Justice Secretary Romulla stepped up to the podium to deliver the hammer blow. He opened with a polite greeting to the public before getting down to business. The entire press conference was dedicated to one subject, Vitaly. The streamer probably thought he would spend a weekend in holding and then catch a flight back to the States or Russia. The authorities, however, were not about to let him off that easy. Because he showed zero regret and completely disrespected their nation, Secretary Romulla decided to make an example of him, slapping him with charges including unjust vexation. With attempted theft added to the list, he is staring down the barrel of over 12 months behind bars if the court finds him guilty. His reckless stunts were so bad that lawmakers are literally rewriting the rules for content creators. We are getting reports that his behavior is single-handedly forcing a change in legislation. Nuisance streamers harassing the public is a massive problem, and now, thanks to reports from GMA, we know the consequences. The National Privacy Commission has officially stepped in to drop the hammer. New rules state that vloggers have to blur out strangers' faces or face penalties. But while the courts are slow, there is chatter on the streets that he might wiggle his way out of this and walk free. Legally, he has been indicted on 3 separate counts of unjust vexation. I have broken this down in past uploads, but it is worth repeating. In the Philippines, this isn't a joke. It is a serious crime that comes with hard time. And right now, he is stuck in the country. As we speak, he is rotting in a cell. But, and this is a massive but, there are whispers circulating that haven't been verified by the police yet. Word is that the witnesses might ghost the trial, which could make the charges vanish, potentially handing Vitaly his freedom. Regardless, he is currently living through a nightmare, and you can see the toll it has taken on his face. Hopefully, this disaster teaches him that risking people's safety for clicks is a losing game. That is a hard lesson Zachary Hertzler had to learn too. This kid was your typical rail fan, spending every waking moment tracking trains across Nebraska for his channel. He posted under the name Capital City Rail Productions. His library was full of deep dives into locomotive history and mechanical specs. But apparently, watching trains wasn't thrilling enough. So he decided to manufacture some drama by April 21st, 2024. He dropped a video with a clickbait title screaming about a massive collision and derailment in Bennett. He starts the clip with his usual intro, welcoming viewers back. Then he tries to set the scene for the catastrophe he was about to document. It all went down on a Sunday evening, April 21st. Just past 7 in the evening, an empty coal train was rolling out of the power plant. The story goes that a busted car forced the crew to make an emergency stop near Bennett to drop it off. They shoved the defective car onto a side track right in town. This maneuver blocked the road between the grain elevator and the main crossing. The workers did their job, flipping the switch to park the car safely. They set up a safety device to derail the car if it rolled, then planned to get back on the move. Allegedly, they forgot to flip the switch back to the main line, and Zachary claims he just happened to notice this fatal error. He said he saw the danger on his way home from work, but instead of alerting the authorities to stop a crash, he set up his tripod and hit record, waiting for the disaster to unfold. Holy hell. You can hear the absolute panic in his voice, asking if they're alive. Just total terror. The second that footage hit the internet, the audience instantly clocked Zachary as the architect of this disaster. The comment section turned into a courtroom, with people telling him straight up, "You derailed that train, and you're going to prison. Talk about nuking your entire future in one go." He could have easily killed that crew. You have to ask yourself, what kind of brain rot leads to this? I mean, I've seen kids mess with switches or climb cars before, but deliberately wrecking a massive freight train just for clicks? That is a new level of insanity. Of course, Zachary tried to play the innocent victim in his next update. He tried to gaslight his viewers, claiming he was clueless about how that switch got flipped. But before we watch him dig his own grave, I want to, address the heat I've been catching in the comment section on my BNSF Arbor derailment clip, specifically about how the empty Arbor couldn't have shoved the defective car into the rip track and then continued on, since they need to reset the switch and link up to the rear DPUs at minimum. Look, I don't know the mechanics of it because, honestly, I was thinking the exact same thing you guys are. I was literally just parroting what the BNSF officer told me on the scene. I haven't seen the official FRA report yet. I just wanted to clear the air so you know I'm not making this up. I'm just relaying info from the police. And what a few rail workers mentioned. I've seen people saying the wheel might have picked the switch point, which, yeah, I've seen clips of that happening too. But it didn't matter, because YouTube terminated his channel a few weeks later. And the mob was right. After a quick investigation, the authorities confirmed everyone's suspicions. Police identified Zachary as the prime suspect and slapped him with 2 felony counts of criminal mischief. We are talking about over $300,000 in damage to that train. And the irony? The smoking gun was his own video. He filmed his crime, uploaded it, and combined with surveillance of him tampering with the switch, he handed them the conviction. Zachary thought he'd slide by as a minor, but the prosecution filed a motion to charge him as an adult. He is currently stuck in court waiting for a judge to decide how many years this stunt is worth, while his lawyers beg for mercy. They are leaning on his clean record, but that is a tough sell when the key evidence is a 4K video of you causing a catastrophe. It is a grim reality check, one that he shares with another reckless creator, Mikhailo Viktorovich Polyakov. Let's talk about Mikhailo, known online as Neo-Orientalist. This guy's entire content strategy was basically a death wish. He wasn't happy with normal travel. He was out there hanging with the Taliban and touring war-torn Afghanistan. He actively sought out places where tourists and sanity usually fear to tread. So, you got a take on Donald Trump? Yeah, these days. I've been watching the showdown, the debate between Trump and the current US president, Biden, at the moment. While his obsession with danger got him a small following of 4,000 subscribers, it eventually led him to the brilliant idea of harassing one of the last uncontacted tribes on Earth. On March 29, 2025, Polyakov launched a boat from Kumaratara Beach, heading straight for the forbidden North Sentinel Island. This place is locked down for a reason. After the tribe killed 2 people previously, the Indian government drew a hard line. It is a strict no-go zone. You cannot get within 5 nautical miles of that island. But laws don't apply to influencers, right? Polyakov decided he would be the third guy to try his luck with the Sentinelese. He hits the beach and starts blowing a whistle like a referee to get their attention, keeping his distance. Instead of a handshake, he left them a weird offering, a half-drunk Diet Coke and a coconut. But he wasn't just littering, he was stealing. He scooped up sand samples and filmed the islanders, treating their home like a human zoo. Unfortunately for him, he didn't get to enjoy his contraband for long. The second his boots touched the mainland, Indian police were waiting to slap cuffs on him. Headlines broke immediately. American YouTuber arrested for invading prohibited territory. All that risk just to disturb a reclusive tribe in the Bay of Bengal for a few views. The Indian authorities aren't mincing words, stating plainly that his stunt poses a catastrophic risk to the tribe's survival. We are talking about a community that is strictly off-limits by federal law to ensure their safety. This isolation is the only thing preserving their ancient culture. According to police reports, Polyakov's brilliant defense was that he was just hunting for viral content. He apparently decided that a forbidden island was the perfect backdrop for his vlog. This wasn't just selfish, it was borderline criminal and incredibly dangerous. His reckless adventure could wipe out the entire Sentinelese population by introducing pathogens their bodies have zero natural defense against. That is exactly why Indian officials are making sure he learns a hard lesson. They threw him in a cell for 14 days straight before charging him with trespassing in a restricted zone. That is a serious felony that could lock him away for 5 long years. As of right now, the courts have been quiet about the final verdict. However, given the massive media storm and the absolute gravity of his crime, I wouldn't bet on him walking away with a simple warning. They are likely going to throw the book at him. Now, Polyakov might get lucky because he hasn't been in trouble before, but for career criminals like Edward Gonzalez and Roland Cepeda Jr. from the My House is Dirty channel, that ship has sailed. No judge is going to go easy on them, especially when they have spent their entire adulthoods documenting their own felonies for clicks. If an act is guaranteed to harass, enrage, or gross out innocent bystanders in public, you can bet your bottom dollar Edward and Roland were there with a camera rolling to capture the chaos. Yo, are you guys going to sign for these packages? Or what? Just put them right there. No, I'm asking if you want to sign for them. Wait, let me see that box. Hey, hold on. Let me see that. You can't just grab it. Man, I can grab whatever the hell I want. That's mine. There is nothing inside. It isn't yours. You guys are totally fake. Get the hell out of here. Don't touch Jeff. Jeff, go get the guns. Get the guns right now. Get out. We are calling the cops. You gonna shoot us? Get out. No. Dude, you guys aren't even real delivery drivers. Leave the package and get lost. This isn't your property. You don't even work for you. P.S. So how is it yours then? It isn't yours. Get out now. Hush. Shut your mouth. Shut it. Shut your trap, you jackass. For nearly 10 years, this pair has been a nightmare for anyone unlucky enough to cross their path. They managed to rack up almost 400,000 subscribers before YouTube finally nuked their channels. From impersonating retail staff to harass shoppers. to staging violent altercations in public spaces, honestly, these two wrote the manual for the toxic nuisance streamer culture we see today. One of their most infamous stunts involved literally shutting down a major freeway just to shoot hoops. I think you made it. Come on, hurry it up. Right here. Let's go. You know what I'm saying? Oh, watch out. There we go. Look at this. Broad daylight, baby. Traffic is backed up for miles. Open this lane up. Woo! Sure, the video got hundreds of thousands of hits, but the price tag was heavy. Months behind bars and over $100,000 in fines. The cops actually used their own footage to ID them for past crimes. And wouldn't you know it, one of those highway ballers was back in court today. But this time, it wasn't for a prank. We have got new footage of 28-year-old Roland Cepeda, facing charges for allegedly swiping two high-end cameras back in February. The judge straight up denied his bond. You might remember this guy, alongside 25-year-old Edward Gonzalez, shutting down the Gulf Freeway feeder road near Broadway. That is where they decided to play a game of pick-up basketball with a plastic kids hoop in the middle of traffic. They both eventually surrendered to police for those obstruction charges. But check this out, Gonzalez is looking at separate felony theft charges for allegedly lifting merchandise from an Apple store, specifically 36 pairs of headphones from the Memorial City Mall back in April. Sadly, jail time hasn't done a thing to stop them. They seem addicted to chasing clout, regardless of the consequences. Edward and Roland have been handcuffed more times than I can count. One of them even posted, "I thank God for my freedom, because some guys I was locked up with aren't getting out for a long time." Yet, they go right back to making trash content. Thankfully, platforms like YouTube are finally stepping up, banning their new accounts the second they pop up. But fame doesn't usually come that fast for the scumbags of the internet, especially guys like Reflay who built a brand on domestic violence. Calling Stanislav Reshetnikov or Reflay a talentless creator is being too kind. The guy's entire online presence was a dumpster fire of him and his buddies, getting wasted, popping pills, and doing reckless stunts live on camera. Real, high-class entertainment. They call this trash streaming. It's a grimy corner of the internet popular in Europe that attracts the absolute worst kind of people looking for a quick payout. Usually, Reflay was the one doing the humiliating stunts for cash. But sometimes, he decided that wasn't enough. On December 20th, 2020, he decided to use his pregnant girlfriend, Valentina, as a prop for his chat's amusement. The stream kicked off like any normal broadcast. Reflay was just sitting there, shooting the breeze with his audience, totally clueless about the tragedy unfolding. It's a whole new life, you know? Yeah, we're gonna play a track and then I'm heading out. Wait, not just yet. Who donated? Hold on guys, we need OW. But the vibe shifted instantly when a viewer dropped $1,000 with a sick demand. They wanted Reflay to beat Valentina and lock her on the balcony. And remember, it was sub-zero out there. Hypothermia isn't a joke, it kills in minutes. Seeing the cash, Reflay didn't hesitate. He didn't just lock her out, he stripped her jacket and doused her in water to make sure she froze faster. For the next few minutes, the stream could hear Valentina pounding on the door, screaming to be let back inside. Reflay just sat there. It wasn't until the screaming stopped and the silence got heavy that he finally checked on her. By then, it was over. I don't feel a heartbeat. Valia, Bunny, I'm worried. Are you alive? No? Damn it. How do I call an ambulance? This is F. Guys, I swear, I think her heart stopped. Val, can you hear me? Wake up. Val, are you alive? No? Damn it, you? She looks dead. F. Val. Unbelievably, with her body lying right there, Reflay kept the stream running for another 2 hours. In the days that followed, the cops picked him up and his online presence was nuked. Since he broadcast the murder himself, the prosecutors had an easy job. The court found him guilty and handed down a 6-year sentence. A lot of people think that's a joke, considering he treated a human life like a prop. That same reckless disregard for safety brings us to another internet menace, the asphalt maniac, Squeeze Benz. For a minute there, Antonio Ganestri, the guy behind Squeeze Benz, thought he was invincible. Every week, he streamed himself tearing up New York streets. Traffic? Cops? It didn't matter. He sliced through jam-packed highways while outrunning the police like it was a video game. His driving was so aggressive, he always managed to slip away, often taking time to mock the officers, choking on his exhaust. Antonio claims this isn't just luck. He says he's been driving since he was 9 years old, raised around engines. He honed his skills making small videos, and eventually, he got his hands on a real performance car. That's when he decided to turn his illegal joyrides into a full-blown spectator sport. Scale of 1 to 10, how wanted are you? Probably a 10. Nobody has more heat on them than me. That's insane. It started about a year ago when I got my first Benz. I was making clips before, but I never took it seriously. Then my boys were like, yo, people are blowing up off this stuff. So I thought, why not? I've seen you in a Lamborghini, a Mercedes. You switch cars constantly. Are you buying these or just touring? It's crazy. I owned a car for a bit, but I had to switch it up because the heat was too much. I was getting chased every day. I realized long-term rentals are the move. And obviously, I don't tell the rental guys I'm gonna go out and destroy their cars. Do they ever blow up your phone asking what happened? They ask, and I just play dumb. Like, I was just driving, man. You're mixing danger with innocent people though. Civilians are at risk when you do this. What do you think about that danger? Look, real talk. I've been doing this since I was 9. I used to steal my dad's car and vanish. I've been doing this so long I feel like a professional out there. The streets know how I drive. I've had people try to keep up with me, and they just end up crying. As you'd expect, this high-speed stupidity went absolutely viral. Videos of Antonio cutting through traffic racked up millions of views and brought in hundreds of thousands of subscribers. People love the idea of this anonymous outlaw taking supercars off the track and into the streets for some real-life GTA. But every second on the road was a gamble. The audience wasn't just watching the skills, they were waiting for the inevitable crash. Despite the obvious risks, the internet couldn't look away. They wanted a front row seat to the chaos. Antonio might have escaped that night, but his luck was running out. By May 2024, the NYPD Autocrimes Unit was ready to pounce. The Manhattan Squad played digital detective, using that flashy BMW from his flex posts to hunt him down. Once the police made the arrest, they connected him to a string of heists from months back. But get this, Antonio barely warmed a cell bench for a few months before walking free on bail. As of this video, his legal battle is still up in the air, so we are waiting to see if the courts actually throw the book at him. Because for guys like this, chasing fame and going viral outweighs the safety of actual human beings. It honestly does not matter who they have to hurt, humiliate, or put in the line of fire, as long as the spotlight is on them. It proves the old saying that clout is one dangerous addiction. We can only hope that some serious